Welcome back everyone, Oz here. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And today I've got some r/malicious compliance for you all. Don't worry about the ants because they're outside? Okay. Many moons ago, back when smartphones didn't exist yet, I managed a major fast food restaurant in Florida. As many of you know, Florida is where you go to visit if you want to be eaten alive by bugs, alligators, snakes, etc. So, in addition to doing basic managerial tasks at my store, I've also been known to help out with odd pest problems like throwing venomous spiders outside and removing snakes from the premise, but nothing too insane. Well, one day my boss sold all of their restaurants to a man that we'll call IB, Idiot Boss. I rarely saw him because he was a very hands-off kind of boss, and I generally liked him because he didn't enforce a bunch of ridiculous rules that my previous bosses did, and he understood that I knew how to run that store. If I ever needed anything, I would just call him to let him know, and he would usually just tell one of the workers from a sister store to go help me with whatever I needed help with. He avoided going to his stores like the plague. But one day, out of the blue, he showed up. Normally, he'd only stop by after midnight once the store was closed, and he only did that about once a week. He was just there to do some paperwork that he didn't get around to doing the night before. No big deal, and I was helping a customer that had just walked in. My sweet customer informed me that he had seen a flying ant on our front door when he walked in. I thanked him for letting me know, and I told him I'd look into it. After I got done helping my customer, I went to go check out the ant, but there were now 2 flying ants on the outside of the door. Oh no, that's how swarms always start. 1 is fine, it might go away. 2 is bad because the first one liked the door so much it told its buddy about it. So I went back inside and told Idiot Boss to call pest control because there were 2 out there, and there were about to be a lot more. Idiot Boss laughed because I was scared of some ants outside. He thought I wasn't afraid of anything, and it's true. I'm not afraid of some flying ants. I know they can fly, and I know they can bite, but I don't like being dismissed like that. I don't needlessly tell people to do things. I told him again that he needed to call pest control, and he told me not to worry about it as long as they weren't inside. Cue malicious compliance. On his way out the door, he made a point to tease me again because there were only 4 out there. I laughed politely and waved goodbye to him. Over the next few days, more and more flying ants showed up. They really liked that door for some reason. It got to the point where there were a good few hundred on it. Now, as I'm sure you can imagine, I wasn't worried about them because, like Idiot Boss said, they weren't inside the store. Once it hit around day 4 of the swarm, customers almost completely stopped coming in, with the exception of some brave lawn care guys and a pest control guy who left me his card. My customers didn't want to get bitten, and I don't blame them. Then on day 5, a manager from one of the sister stores popped in to grab some food that their store had run out of. She was stunned by how many ants there were. I shrugged and told her that I told Idiot Boss already, but she still decided to call him, and she told him that there were now hundreds of flying ants. I don't know exactly what he said to her, but I do remember that after that phone call, she pointed out that he never listens to the female managers. I think she may have been right about that, but that's a story for another day. I said goodbye to her as she exited through the back door, and she told me to enjoy doing nothing for the rest of my shift. Eventually the boss came back to the store for his once-a-week visit, which was in the middle of the night because that was normal for him. And he must have had a conniption because he called me as soon as he walked into the store that following morning. He was so mad, but not at me. He went on a huge rant about how there must be something wrong with Florida and how he lost so much money due to customers not coming in. He asked me if I'd be okay with working a half day, and I said sure. He called pest control and they solved the problem the next day. He also got more hands-on with all of his stores after that, and he listened to me a little better, which was nice. Back when I was still working fast food, my coworkers and I started noticing that there were mice and rat carcasses inside of the buckets of water that we would leave out. And when we brought this to the attention of the managers, they kind of just ignored us, and it wasn't until the customers started seeing little mice running about during daytime hours that they actually did something about it. Yeah, go ahead and promote my assistant to be my competition. Please do. I've been with this company now for over 15 years. Well, this happened about 5 years ago, and I still laugh about it. It's the year I made the most money I ever have. So I have an assistant that works for me. I've had 4 over the years, and one of them, well, he should have never been hired. The guy wasn't cut out for it, and I could tell right away. Nice enough guy, and I get it. He took the job for a paycheck. But God, did he suck at prospecting, setting appointments, and helping me out with my paperwork. My assistant's job was to help me prospect for more clients, set appointments, he would get commission on this, help me with my paperwork, track orders. My assistant was pretty good at tracking orders, he responded to emails, but that's about it. He was a complete idiot when it came to anything else. I kept asking that I be allowed to let him go replace him, but my manager was insisting that I had to work with him. I complained about him so much, my manager said, if you don't want him as your assistant, I'll promote him to sales and he can be your competition. I said, he'd work in my territory? Manager said, yeah, and I bet at the end you'll see he does have what it takes. I said, sounds like a deal. Now, my employment contract commission agreement said that my sales objective was based upon the territory I was in divided by the number of sales rep. I had worked my way up to running an entire territory by myself. By my manager promoting my assistant to work my area, he effectively cut my sales objective in half. And I made damn sure my sales objective got cut in half. I remember when I got off the phone with my VP discussing this, my VP said, "You're gonna blow this year out of the water, aren't you?" So my sales objective was cut in half and I got to work. I actually sold about the same amount, but because my objective was so low, I maxed out all of the bonuses. I've looked back on that year, and because of my manager's decision to give me competition, I put about $100,000 extra in my pocket that year, which was awesome. As per my former assistant, he flunked out and was let go partway through the year. I'm still good friends with him, and he now has a nice IT job making good money in a role he's much more suited for. The following year, everything went back to normal, and apparently my manager got a stern talking to about not doing what he did again, cause I'm sure the company wasn't thrilled about having to pay 2 salaries and an extra $100,000 in commissions because of a failed experiment. I often joke with my manager, I love the guy, he's been good to me, that he should hire another Rob, and he says, you wish. Don't fix anything? Okay. As I have mentioned in other posts, Tales from Retail, I worked better than 30 years in convenience stores, and boy, the stuff I have seen and endured. However, this story is about malicious compliance, so let's get to it. I had worked for this particular chain of stores for a while and had learned the many ins and outs of fixing minor problems to keep the store running. Printer stops working? Let me check the wiring. Ah, problem solved. Door sticking? I got this. Anyway, I'm tightening the hinges on the door one day when my manager catches me. Now, technically, the store employees are not supposed to fix anything. If it required maintenance of any kind, we were supposed to call it in and let the maintenance guys handle it, so the manager yelled at me for fixing the door. AJ, what are you doing? Fixing the door because it was sticking. No, we're supposed to call it in and not fix it ourselves. But manager, it's just some loose screws. Look, it took me like 5 minutes. I don't care. We are not supposed to fix anything. We call it in, period. So I can't fix anything, not even simple stuff. No, nothing. Just call maintenance. If I catch you fixing anything again, I am going to write you up. You realize that it can take days for them to respond to simple things like the door sticking. She nodded. Okay, whatever you say. I stopped making repairs. Every time something broke, I filed a repair order, included things like wood trim breaking or a squeaking door. I didn't touch a thing. Maintenance got very tired of seeing our store number pop up on their computer, and the maintenance guy asked why I didn't just fix some of them since they were very simple repairs or did not really need a maintenance call. Manager said I had to report any report, no matter how large or small, or I could be wrote up. So sorry. The final straw was when the coffee pot sprang a leak. Our coffee pots were hooked up to the main water supply, so when one of them started leaking, it didn't stop. Just kept slowly dribbling water. I, as I was told to do, made a maintenance request, stamped an emergency, and placed some towels to stop the spread of water. I did not shut off the water, which would have been easy, because I was told not to fix anything. I told manager that the pot was leaking and that I had called maintenance. She came out of her office, saw the water still spreading, and turned to me in exasperation. Why is it still leaking? Because it's a maintenance issue and I'm not to touch it per your orders. You could have turned off the water, which she proceeded to do. Nope, sorry, but you said I could get rode up, so I am not touching anything maintenance related. She glared at me for a full minute before replying. This is different. Leaving the water running could cause significant damage, so it's okay to shut it off. Nope, not running the risk since you threatened to write me up. I am not touching a thing even remotely connected to maintenance. I was transferred to a sister station in town 2 weeks later for some reason. I also went back to fixing minor issues with no problems from my new manager. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. And if you want to see more of my content, then check out the end screens above. And till next time, I'll see y'all later.